Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad you decided to tune in. Today we have a very, very, very special guest, left-handed pitcher in the Dodgers organization, JustinWrobleski. Comes into Dodgers Daily, and hey, Wrobo, it is Bedlam Week, so I thought it appropriate to bring on a fellow Oklahoma State Cowboy. So go Pokes, all right?
Go Pokes.
All right, so hey, it is Bedlam Week, so I'm going to put you right on the spot right off the bat. What's going to happen?
Well, I mean, OU's just coming off that tough loss against Kansas. So looks like we're trending up, and I mean, Ollie Gordon's doing his thing. So I think the Pokes eke out a W. For a score, right. I'm going to give you feels like a 35-24 game to me.
Oh, nice.
That's my guess.
Nice. Okay, so enough about the Bedlam. Let's get into your season last year. And, hey, I want to take you back to early April. I believe it was like your second outing of the year. You're in Dayton. For people that don't know, Dayton sells out every single time that they play a game. I think they sold out like every home game this year. They're right on top of you. They're a very vocal crowd. And I think I know you well enough, Wrobo, to where, hey, those people were giving it to you, and you gave it right back to them with your performance. The last couple of innings that you had in that game were very dominant. So, first of all, I kind of wanted to take you back to that moment. And you're coming off the Tommy John, so you're kind of in rehab mode. Did that kind of take you out of rehab mode and right back into compete mode right off the bat?
So I think anyone that has been around me or has been on a team with me, and anyone that was with me through that entire rehab process and like me coming back or whatever, I don't really have a rehab mode. I think for me, it's always like anytime I get the ball, like it doesn't matter if we're in a sandlot, it doesn't matter if we're in a backfield in Arizona, like if you give me the ball, like I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna compete and I'm gonna do my thing. Like that's just kind of who I am, and that's I think I've understood that that's kind of who I need to be like in order to succeed. So I think that's just kind of my demeanor out there. But for sure, anytime we not at that point in the season, but we had a little beef with Dayton later on in the year. So like anytime we played them, it was a lot of fun. Just kind of like embracing that moment and being like, all right, like I'm gonna go out there and do this for the boys, like kind of deal. So, but yeah, anytime you can pitch in front of a lot of people, like that makes it kind of gives me an edge. I kind of enjoy it, more than if there's nobody in the stands for sure. So I think that was a big point in my year, just kind of getting in front of those people and being like, okay, this is professional baseball. Like now it's time to go. And then I think from then on, like it was a solid year for sure.
So your first month, you had a lot of really high moments, kind of some ups and downs, just kind of getting loose, getting back in the groove of things. Your second and third months were just simply fantastic, pretty close to dominant. So that had to be a lot of fun, just kind of feeling like you're getting loose and throwing the ball and releasing the ball like you're used to feeling it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'd say just kind of that first month kind of had some things just not go my way and maybe like had to switch up some usage stuff, but I think my FIP at one point was like half of what my ERA was. So it's just like, I know I'm doing the right things, and DA is telling me like, hey, you're doing the right things. Like, don't worry about it. Just keep plugging kind of deal. And that really helped me. And even, Okoye just kind of talking to me and Nav talking to me, being like, hey, man, like this, it can't keep going like this. Like it'd be like make one bad pitch an outing, not even like a bad pitch, but it's just like, stuff to where it's like, yeah, I caught a little plate and he got a double, and for whatever reason there was runners on base, whatever. But I think kind of just having that realization, like, okay, man, like this isn't college anymore. Like I've got to make a lot more starts. Like it's like there's no need to panic and kind of worry about it. And then I think really like went to Lake County. I remember we went to Lake County, and that was my first, I think, of the year, second of the year, where I had the Tuesday and then throw again on Sunday. And threw well on Tuesday. I think I went like 4 innings scoreless and like got out of a jam in the fourth where they like let me kind of ride my pitch count, and got out of a jam in the fourth. And I was like, okay, like now we go. And I think from that point on in the season, like there was not a lot of times where, I don't know, I felt like I wasn't going to go out there and perform. I guess that's kind of how it's always got to be, like when you're going out there. But just kind of building off of it and understanding, like, once I figure out, like, usage stuff and adding different pitches and things like that, like, really helped me out. And it was a great, learning experience for me that first month, and then just kind of building as the year went on. And it was awesome. So I can't obviously thank, all those guys that helped me out through that enough, but a lot of guys have way worse struggles than that. So like I said, like, just kind of go through it and be like, yeah, I enjoy it. Let's keep going.
So 2019, you're at Clemson, and you kind of go back and forth between being a starter, being in the bullpen. 2020, you're at JUCO. You're on your way to having a great year. Then that gets canceled. 2021, you have your Tommy John halfway through your last season there at Oklahoma State. And then last year, 2022, when I say last year, I mean 2022, it's kind of just a year of just getting back on the mound and just kind of getting comfortable again. So really, in a lot of ways, this was your first year to start in a starting role and to get extended the way that you did. So were you a little bit worried about your durability? We've always known the stuff was there, but just not having done it in the last 4 or 5 years, were you worried about that durability aspect of it?
Personally, I was not. I never really have worried about that. Even those times where I was going through that struggle with TJ and everything else, it's like, yeah, man, like, kind of comes with the territory. Like, you throw hard, like, you're going to put yourself at risk. And that's just kind of something that happened. And you know what, like, my arm could have been messed up for a long time before that and whatever. So I wasn't worried about that at all. And then, also another part of that just kind of whole deal, like, that year at JUCO, I broke my jaw. So went from throwing like 95, 96 in the fall, broke my jaw, lost 25 pounds. Had my mouth wired shut for 5 weeks. And then I ended up coming back. Like, I missed kind of like our first 2 weeks of the season. I go in the morning because they wired my mouth shut. I go in the morning. They take the wires out of my mouth. I throw in a game, which probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. I threw in a game that day. And then just kind of like my ramp back on, like, probably didn't help my arm per se, but no, man, I've never worried about kind of durability stuff and things like that. I think, if you catch yourself kind of worrying about things like that, I don't think you put enough work in. That's kind of what it comes down to. I think if you believe that you did all you could to put yourself in a spot where you can be a starting pitcher, like, I think you're fine. And if you get hurt, man, like, that's part of the game. So, but yeah, I just think you got to if you put in the work, I think I like to pride myself on kind of being that kind of guy. Like, I think you shouldn't be really worried about something like that. I think I was just kind of like, yeah, let's do it. Give me the ball. So
having talked to some of your former coaches, some of your coaches that you have right now, the first thing that they'll say is, hey, this dude is like the most legitimate person as far as being rigid with his diet, being rigid with his daily routine, lifting his weights, doing his running, doing all the stuff that he needs to do to take care of his body. So that all finally paid off for you, didn't it?
For sure. And it's not going to stop anytime soon. That's just kind of my personality, just kind of anything I can do to kind of, like, if I do something, like, I'll give it 110%. Like, that's, any edge I can gain through, whether it's nutrition, whether it's this, whether it's that, like, I'm going to do it. And that's just kind of who I am. So it's not going to stop anytime soon. That's for sure.
Yeah. I was talking to Josh, your former coach there at Oklahoma State, Josh Holliday, at one of the camps, and he just went on and on and on about just, your off the field work process. Talking to Rob Hill in the offseason last year, he went on and on and on about it, talking to Dave Anderson. So super impressed with the way that you take care of yourself from start to start, which is such a huge deal as a professional, because you're playing for 6 months. In college, you're playing for a shorter period of time. So as you become a professional, that nutrition and all that becomes that much more valuable. So, okay, this last season for the Loons, man, this was a super blast because you had really cool players to watch. You were a good team. It almost felt like a college environment where you guys were all playing for each other. You were playing for something. So did you kind of get that feel out of this team?
Yeah. And me being a guy that's never really had a chance to kind of make that run in the postseason in college, like, it was as close as it gets for sure. Obviously it's a little more grindy and a little more, this and that. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, it was a lot of fun to be around, and, we were good for a long time there. We struggled a little bit in the second half, but, I think kind of just coming back, making the championship. It was good. It was a really fun time for sure.
I've told many people the next crop of left-handed starters in the Dodgers organizational system was at Great Lakes. Maddox runs RonanKopp. Of course, Ronan, he moved to the bullpen there towards the end of the season, and wow, how dominant he was. But you guys had to fed off of each other as the season went on, didn't you?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Just kind of, watching just kind of the stuff out of really all of us is just pretty ridiculous. Like just sitting there, not just the left-handed guys, man, we're in high A right now, but these guys have big league stuff, man, just kind of top to bottom on our team. And it's really fun to watch, kind of just guys go out there and dominate. And like even the guys whose like stuff on our team is not as great as like collective the whole. It's just like their stuff is still disgusting and they're still able to just dominate. It's really fun to watch, and just like top to bottom, starters, relievers, like just everybody it was really fun to be around this year for sure.
Well, I know you well enough to know that every time that Dave took the ball from you, you did not want to come out. Having said that, though, the relief corps for the Loons this year, a lot of these guys ran hot. They like to ride that adrenaline. You had several guys that approached 100. Hobbsy had that ridiculous curveball. So even though you probably didn't want to give up the ball, giving up that ball and going in the dugout and watching this relief corps for the Loons, that had to be a joy too, didn't it?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, anytime any of those guys at the back end come in, it's like, yeah, like we probably got this one locked. So it's really fun to watch, man. And just kind of seeing guys like, I'd say it's more impressive to me to watch guys where it's like, yeah, okay, he blew one last week and then, immediately hop back up there and just dominate for a month. It's just like, okay, this is kind of like, this is what you're dealing with guys that are really good, and like kind of understanding like this is what makes people good, is the guys that can bounce back like that. Guys like Hobbs and Dreyer and all those guys, man, Mitch, like even those guys, they do a great job. And just watching them pitch, Suarez, obviously, I could go name the whole bullpen. Just kind of, it's really fun to watch, and it's really, kind of a joy to be around. Just kind of the, I'd say the attitudes and the effort those guys put into every day to try and be their best. So yeah, all that to say, like I definitely trust those guys for sure, even if my runners are on. So
high A Great Lakes level is always a level where the pitching piles up in terms of numbers on the roster. So you have to have a super creative pitching coach, if you will, to kind of get everybody's working. Of course, you were a starter, so it wasn't quite as difficult for you, but definitely in the pen, you have so many guys that you can turn to. There is nobody better in the game, especially at the minor league level, than Dave Anderson, and being creative to make sure that every pitcher on that staff gets exactly what they need, whether it be a bullpen, whether it be on an off day, or just getting the work in.
Yeah, for sure. And kind of just being able to work with Dave this year, and I worked with him a little bit my first year when I was in Arizona, just kind of talking through stuff with him and just kind of getting to know him. But yeah, it was great, man. He I can't say enough good things about DA, man. He really knows his stuff, like anything mechanical wise, like he really knows, and he really cares. So like if you ask him for stuff, like he's going to help you out. He's going to give you what he thinks. And you can bounce kind of ideas back and forth off of him. And if you don't like it, he's not going to make you do stuff. Like it's really cool to work with a guy like that, because you feel like, I don't know, there's some people you work with where you don't necessarily feel in control of it. He kind of makes you feel the opposite. It's like, yeah, I'm here as a resource, but like you can do what you want, but here's what I think. And I think that's a really good relationship to have, because, at the end of the day, like if you don't like it, like it's never going to work for you. So I think if you, like Dave is just the best. I again, like can't say enough great things about him. Like he kind of helped me with usage stuff, and he'll make sheets for you saying like, okay, like when target's here, like here's kind of the differences between when you were going good and when you're struggling, kind of deal. And, everything like that, like really helps a guy like me who likes to see stuff like that and kind of is able to make adjustments off stuff like that. So again, man, Dave, and from the management and everything else perspective of trying to manage that bullpen and figure it out, like I don't even want to think about trying to do that, because that's just, it seems like such a pain, man. But we love him, and honestly can't say enough great things about DA.
You know, the key word that you used there, and I had a guy who was a first-round draft pick in 1972 that I get to – my best friend in the world, Eddie Daves, who played for the Cardinals. He always tells me this: I want to work for a guy that you work with and not a guy that you work for. And I noticed that you used the word work with DA a couple of different times. That's perfect.
Exactly. That's what it takes, man. I think any pitching coach I've ever had that I'm able to work with as opposed to work for, man, that's always helped me a lot. So.
Hey, Daniel Nava, this was his first year to be the head manager. Of course, he worked under Shu at Rancho in 2022. So got moved up whenever Austin got moved into more of a kind of a roving position. So, man, it sure seemed like he put out a pretty cool environment.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, just kind of coming to the clubhouse every day, like, you know, obviously he's always got his swagger and his, like, it's hard to explain, but it's just kind of the way Nava kind of carries himself, and the way you can kind of ask him questions about stuff, and he'll kind of ask you questions about stuff. And he's an awesome guy to be around, and the clubhouse was great. And again, like, can't thank him enough for kind of all he did for me just kind of throughout the season, and kind of his trust in me for a couple of those outings, like, where, you know, it's minor league baseball, so yes, it's a little different, but like, there's a couple of those outings where it's like, yeah, first and second and the fifth, I get out of it, and I go one more. Like, that means a lot to me, because that's kind of the guy I want to be. Like, I want to be going deep into games. I want to do things like that. And he gave me the opportunity, which was awesome, because I haven't really had a whole lot of experience doing stuff like that. So that was great for me. And then just kind of everything off the field, he was great. Just kind of giving us show and goes if we need him. Just kind of, you know, have him feel with stuff. And believe it or not, that's hard for a lot of people to have that kind of feel. So he was a great manager, and can't thank him enough again, because just, you know, I think a big part of my years is, you know, due to that coaching staff there, for sure.
Definitely very cool that you got to throw to three of the better catchers in the minor leagues. DaltonRushing, obviously the number one prospect in the Dodgers organization, YeinerFernandez, and then quite possibly the most underrated offensive and defensive player in the Dodgers minor league system. When you talk about GriffinLockwoodPowell, he caught some too. Locke, I love that guy. I love the way he's a big guy, but he uses the middle of the field. So how cool was it to get to throw to such three great catchers?
Yeah, it was great. It was great. I mean, throwing any of those guys, like, you're confident having any of them back there, just on any given day. And I love just kind of the, you know, obviously, again, like, minor league is a little different. You got to get everybody in. So most of the time you're not going to be throwing to a specific guy all the time. So just kind of getting the chance to work with different guys and kind of figure out, like, I would just say, like, how to game plan with them, or how to talk to them about the game, as opposed to other guys. It's just kind of like, because they have to learn us, but at the same time, like, we have to learn them and figure them out. But again, like, it was awesome throwing all those guys. And to your point on Locke, man, Locke is a beast. He's really good back there. Like, if you look at a lot of the framing numbers, his stuff is really good. He is severely underrated as a catcher, and he is a really good hitter. I think even his numbers this year, like, they're not going to show as well as he hit the ball this year. He hit the ball hard a lot and came up empty, hitting it hard a lot. Obviously, we know Dalton hits absolute nukes, and Ye can just get it in play and get a double, triple homer when he wants to. It's just it's a crazy group of catchers, for sure. But I love throwing to all of them. I even got to throw to Max this year, who's really good back there. It's just like it's awesome, man. It's really fun to kind of work with all those guys, because they care, and that, at the end of the day, that's all I can really ask for, is just for them to care about defense back there, and that's really half the battle with some of those guys. So it was really awesome to throw to all of them.
You got a full season under your belt. What things do you think you're doing well enough right now to be a consistent major leaguer?
I think, man, so as far as things kind of need to be tightened up a little bit, I'd say, I don't know, man, really at the end of last year, I felt like, I don't know, this is just me being me, but like, I feel like I'm to a point where I'm becoming more and more ready to be there. And I really want to be there soon. And I feel like I've put myself in a spot where, command wise, just with everything, with sequencing wise, with kind of understanding hitters and things like that. Like, I think I'm at a point where just need more experience, really, is what it comes down to. I think everything from a mechanical standpoint is in a good spot right now. Obviously, I'm throwing the hardest I've ever thrown, so just kind of keep everything there and kind of keep pushing, because I feel like I'm close, and I'm ready to just kind of be there. That's kind of my goal, obviously, is to be there. But I truly do feel like my stuff is good enough. I think my command is good enough. With almost everything, I think I'm in a good spot. So just kind of, honestly, you can always be better in everything, is kind of what my brain is like. I'm never going to be at a point where I'm satisfied with where I'm at. So I guess to answer your question, I think if everything could be better, I think I could be really, really good, but I still think I'm never going to be where I want to be. So I think just kind of tightening just kind of the edges and figuring out like what works and what doesn't, just kind of get more experience and keep going. So that's kind of what I think I need to do.
Going back to Locke too. Hey, by the way, he went to Central Michigan, so I'm sure he gave great advice on how to deal with all that weather in April in Michigan in the Midwest League, right? It gets cold up there, doesn't it?
You don't. You get out of there.
Yeah,
that's the only way to deal with it, man.
Yeah, the only way. Up there. There's no amount of clothing that can make me warm.
No,
in the middle of April, trying to play.
It's 26 degrees and raining. Like, what are you gonna do?
And you have to act like you're not miserable, but you are.
Yeah, exactly. Wear a heated jacket in the dugout. That's my tip.
Oh, I'm so soft when it comes to cold weather, and I am not afraid to tell. I would dress up like an Eskimo, and my kids would go, "Coach, are you cold?" I'm like, "Hell no, I'm not cold. That's why I have all these clothes on, and so I don't
got
get
6 sweatshirts on."
Yeah, it was. Hey, you ready to have a little bit of fun here? Answer some questions. Okay. First of all, let's have some fun questions here. Number one, who is the funniest player on the team?
I think off the top of my head, I'm gonna go with Michael Hobbs.
Oh, I can see that.
I'll go with Hobbs.
Is that why he's such a good closer? Because he just keeps everything perspective like that?
I think so, man. He does a great job. Guy never complains. Just kind of keeps plugging. So love that guy, and super excited to see where he ends up.
All right, man. You had your inter-squad scrimmages in Stillwater, Oklahoma in October leading up to November, so you heard all about deer season. Bow season opened up about a couple of weeks ago. It's getting ready to be gun season here in the middle of November. So I've got to ask you, being deer season, who would be the most likely to be in a deer stand when deer season opens up?
Oh, Maddox.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maddox, not even close.
Okay, so the next question. Who would get picked first for a pickup basketball game?
Well, I'm going to go Ord wide, and I'm going to say Frost. I'm going to say NickFrasso.
Yeah, Frasso can still dunk,
So can I.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? No doubt.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm assuming you had some pretty wicked. Of course, you couldn't tell them at the time because pickup basketball is like the most dangerous sport for a baseball player on earth, right?
That's illegal. That is illegal.
I'm sure you had quite a few pretty good matchups at the Colvin Center there in Stillwater.
No. I tried to stay away from there because that's where you hurt yourself.
Yeah, no doubt.
I watched my roommate, my freshman year, yeah. Adam Hackenberg, who's with the AAA for the White Sox right now. I watched him kind of get roughed up in there a little bit, and I was like, all right, we're done. We're done doing that. I'm not going to go back there. Not going to take a chance of hurting myself. No point.
So are you point guard?
Basketball.
What are you, a point guard? Are you a shooting guard? Are you a three guard? What are you?
I was a shooting guard. I'd play the 2 through the 4, but 4 was not really, like, I wasn't big enough. I only played like freshman, sophomore year because we had just some coaching stuff come in my 3rd year, and I just couldn't end up playing for the team. And a bunch of guys ended up quitting and stuff like that. So, and I'd kind of try to take baseball a little more serious at that point. But yeah, freshman, sophomore year, I was on varsity and didn't get to play as much as I would have liked. But I love basketball. I was a little undersized at the time. I think I was like 165 pounds until my junior year. So a little hard for them to have a liability on defense like that, but I could shoot it. I'll tell you that much.
All right.
I used to go in before school, and I would shoot like 300 shots in the morning.
So you could shoot it and you could dunk it.
I back then it was more rim grazer.
Now are we talking tennis ball dunk, or are we talking full on basketball?
No. Now I can dunk a basketball, but back then it was more of like a rim grazer. Like I dunked my freshman year, but it was more of like rim grazer, and then as I moved on, I could dunk a little better every year. But yeah, now it's getting serious.
One of those.
Have you seen River, by the way? River's got crazy bounce.
Really?
Bounce.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
River's got crazy bounce.
Well,
River can like windmill.
Yeah, well, he was an elite two-way player, so that doesn't surprise me. UMP Pembroke.
He's an electric athlete.
Yeah, and he's got swag to him. You know, you talk about dunking, and I was getting ready to ask you, are you talking about dunking in front of a crowd of all your friends in case if you don't get it right, you might fall on your face, or are you doing this by yourself? You got confidence doing it in front of your friends?
Oh, yeah. Come on, man. Yeah. Come on. Of course. I'll do it on one of my friends.
Oh, you're going to dunk on one of your friends. Now you can see why JustinWrobleski is such a good baseball player. The ultimate game of failure. He just kicks it right in the butt. You can see his mentality right here. Okay, so next question here. Which teammate is the funnest to follow on social media and why? I'm sure the Dodgers curtail a little bit of that, but which one would it be?
My personal favorite, I love watching Pito tweet about anything. I like his tweets, and then I like
dry humor.
Pito's Instagram. Just Pito's Instagram, just the sports stuff and everything about the Jets, like that. I love it.
Yeah, Pito's a good one to follow. I see all of those same Instagram posts and tweets that you're talking about. Yeah. Okay, if you got to course baseball, you know you have rain, you have all different. You know, hours upon hours in a clubhouse and locker room or whatever you want to call it, where you're just killing time with the dudes, right? Okay, so you're either playing video games or playing cards or whatever you may be doing. Okay, let's say that an arm wrestling contest broke out with the Loons this last year. Who wins?
None other than Mike Tyson, a.k.a. YonCastro.
Oh.
His arms are huge.
Okay.
That guy is a beast. He would win, and it would not be close.
Well, who would he be arm wrestling against in the finals?
Anyone? Let's see. I'd like to throw Rush in there for sure.
Dalton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd probably be him versus Dalton. And it would just depend. I think Jan would still win, but if someone got Dalton mad, he might have a chance.
Oh, really? It might at least be a match?
Oh, yeah.
So if he got some momentum going, he might be able to finish it off, right?
It'd be a good one, but I think Jan still got it. Yeah, I think Jan still got it. Though I think it'd be a close second with Rush for sure.
Don't mess with YonCastro, who, by the way, had a very good year this year. Okay, okay, Wrobo, very, very, very proud of you. Got to see, 5 or 6 of your starts here at Oklahoma State, so that was really cool. And so really excited when you became a Dodger. Super, super proud of you. Super proud of the year that you had this year. So any final thoughts?
No, let's just keep rolling. We really appreciate you. So keep doing your thing, and we'll keep doing ours.
Okay, and one last time, go Pokes.
Go Pokes. Go Pokes.